Hello and welcome to Inside Sports. I'm Wes Decker. It's always great to have you along, and this week we have a jam-packed program for you. Before it's over, we'll get to cross country and golf, plus all of Week 7's football, but we begin with the spotlight on soccer. The draws are out, and we begin with girls soccer, and in particular, Smithsburg coach Victor Delamea joins me. Coach, thank you very much for being here. It's been a great season for Smithsburg so far, but I know looking forward to this season began with the end of last season, and this is where you wanted to get to. Now you've got home field advantage as far as Smithsburg is concerned. You don't play now until Halloween, so you have some time off. How does that benefit your team?
Well, it benefits the team because it allows the girls to first take the situation in and just absorb it and have an understanding what's ahead of them. It allows them to mentally prepare for what's ahead of them. Also allows them to physically, heal up some scratches, some scrapes, some, sprains and stuff like that have been happening throughout the season. Because like you said, last year we were a little riddled with injury and we got healthy at the end, and now we got a chance to get healthy and get the players back to where they need to be.
How satisfied are you with where you are right now? An 11-4 record, county tournament championship this season, and now you come into the playoffs on a pretty decent roll. So how do you feel about where the Smithsburg girls soccer team is right now?
Above the Smithsburg girl team this year, I'm looking to where the program has gotten from where I first came in, and with the help of Coach Folks and Coach Horst, and we've added Coach Moss this year, and an outstanding group of seniors that we have this year. I'm really happy with where we are right now. I think we've got a quiet confidence to us that allow us to, and the girls understand what's ahead of them, what they need to achieve. They've been there, they've done that, and are really ready to go into the second season, as we like to call it.
Yeah, number 1 seed in 1A West, Section 2. So as I said, you have some time to wait, and your opponent will be either Clear Spring or Brunswick. Already seen Clear Spring 3 times this year, Brunswick 1 time, beaten Clear Spring every time, but it's gotten closer each time you played them. Lost to Brunswick. What are you looking at? What are you scouting out as far as that potential matchup?
Well, just like I was saying, with us having to deal with a couple injuries here and there, and their schools probably have things to deal with themselves. They, Brunswick has most likely considerably changed since we faced them second game of the season in. I think both teams have gone through some dynamic changes. Clear Spring, like you said, will be our 4th time seeing them. Not a lot of difference in changes is going to be presented in the game, and our girls, again, they understand what's ahead of them, and they understand the opponents that they have a chance of facing, and are absolutely excited to start. And this week of practice should be a lot of fun because the girls they know what they need, what pitch level they need to get to enter into the playoffs.
An 8-5-2 record for Clear Spring during the regular season. They just beat Brunswick last Saturday, so those two teams again will match up in what will be a quarterfinal matchup, or I'm sorry, a semifinal matchup there in the section. Northern Garrett, the number 1 seed, on the other side of that bracket. Let's go to some of the other teams within the county and the draws that they got. In 2A, Williamsport is the number 4 seed in the West Section 1 and will play the 5th seed in Walkersville on Friday. Seems to me that Williamsport is just getting better at the right time.
Oh yeah, Coach Wood has done an outstanding job with them. She's really prepared them to go into what, again, I like to call the second season, and they're getting hot at the right moment. And they're a team that I don't think anybody in the county or anybody in the region wants to face right now because they're playing so well. But Walkersville, on the other hand, is a really well-skilled team too, and that's gonna be an outstanding game in 2A, and it's gonna show a lot of the quality that the West region possess.
And Williamsport has won 5 in a row, and again, that's a great way to go into the playoffs. The other team in 2A West would be Boonesboro from the county. Boonesboro's had kind of a rough season, 4-8-1 overall, but it seems like no matter how good their season is, they always wind up drawing Oakdale in the playoffs.
And that's just 2A soccer. 2A is, to me, probably one of the hardest draws across the board. You have so many quality teams, and Boonesboro is well coached. They're getting, again, they're getting stronger as the season progresses. And playing Oakdale, that Oakdale plays a very conservative style, very, strong soccer game, but Boonesboro is playing well. I think can pull a result out of that one on any given day.
Yeah, Boonesboro 2-1-1 in their last 4. So, and that was with one game still remaining as we tape here today on Monday. 3A West kind of made it easy for us with the 2 county schools, South Hagerstown and North Hagerstown, for the second time this season. But North is a team that I think is looking well beyond this. South with just 1 win this season. North, the MVAL and Antietam Conference champs, 8-4-2 coming into this game.
Oh, absolutely. North, on paper has to be looked at as a strong contender for that region, but not to take anything away from South. That on any given day, as I've said in the past, the county is very evenly weighted, that there's no completely dominant team, and any team that has a bad day will pay for it in the long run. But again, North is a very strong team, well-trained, great coaches. They have, a really good chance of having some progression through the playoffs and having a good run.
What's the one thing that you will talk about to your team? Or what's the one point of emphasis here before the playoffs begin?
With such a strong senior squad, we really emphasize that you have to understand the situation that you're in right now of one and done. You can't put off your best game for the next game. You have to play your best game that day. And that's what the girls found out late in the playoffs, unfortunately, last year. And that's what we're going to stress, is that you need to seriously bring it every single day. There is no off days. There's no, we had a bad game, we can pick it up next game. This is a 1-game season from here on out, and that's what I spoke to you at the beginning of the year. We play 1 game at a time now. It's it. There's no, we'll take care of it tomorrow. There's a wake up tomorrow. No, there's no wake up for the season. Once you go down in a result, your season is over. Well, so it's a little harsh sounding, but it's an ultimate reality of playoff soccer and playoff anything in Maryland.
Well, good luck, have fun, and we hope to be seeing you playing, late throughout the course of the playoffs.
That's the game plan.
Yeah, appreciate it, Coach. Thanks for
being here.
Thank
you for having me.
I'm back right after this boys soccer draw to talk about with Coach Rickards from Boonesboro in just a moment.
Wanna be one, number one, it's gotta be fun. Wanna be one, number one, it's gotta be fun. Punch it, kick it, giving it all. Premier martial arts helps take it to the top, y'all. Jab, cross, hook, kick, you feel it when we stick it. Wanna be one, winner, yeah, I won. I'm premier, number one. Wanna be number one, kids? Have your parents call.
For over 25 years, Tony's Pizzeria has been serving authentic Italian cuisine. Open daily for lunch and dinner. Stop by today and enjoy one of their many house favorites, made fresh from scratch daily, in the newly expanded and remodeled dining area. Serving a full liquor bar, beer, and wine, Tony's 50-person banquet room is perfect for your next celebration. Dine in, take out, or delivery. Come see what's new at Tony's Pizzeria Restaurant and Grill, 10 East Salisbury Street in Williamsport.
Welcome back to the show, and we continue now with more of the playoff draws for soccer, and specifically, let's get into the boys now with Roy Rickards, the head coach at Boonesboro. Coach, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Glad to have you here. Your team 7-7 through the regular season. Do you feel that that's sort of indicative of the way the year has gone for Boonesboro, or do you think that that record is just what it is, and the team perhaps has fared a little better than that?
I think the record's what it is, and I think we have fared a lot better than the record shows. The boys have played really hard, and we just got caught some tough breaks.
And that can be the case through a long season, obviously, and there are a lot of things that factor into that. Injuries along the way. Cohesiveness of the unit. Talk a little bit about this team this year from a chemistry standpoint.
I think our team chemistry is really good. We got a lot of returning starters. Still a young team. We got 9 seniors, but we still have a young and upcoming team for the future.
Well, you get the number 5 seed in 2A West in Section 1. County champions this year. Runners-up in the MVAL Antietam, and you draw a Walkersville team that you saw earlier this season, lost to them 3-1 at the time. Is it good to get a team that you're a little familiar with, that you have a match with earlier in the season when you go into the playoffs?
Yes, yes.
How does that help you?
We can look back at what we did wrong and correct those mistakes. It's just simple mistakes that comes in everyday life. They're kids.
What do you feel the mindset of your team is heading into the postseason now, because everything's brand new?
Right. I think we're really set on trying to win this playoff game. We haven't won a playoff game in Boonesboro boys since 2008.
Well, it'd be a major feather in the cap. And with
Yes.
9 seniors, clearly you have a lot of guys with one particular goal, and it's one and done from here. So,
Yes.
this
Yes.
this is the time to get it done. Number 1 seed Mountain Ridge would await the winner of that. So
Right.
the draw is not terribly favorable, but at the same time, hey, you have to beat the best in order to be the
Right.
best. So
Right.
you know what's ahead of you there. Also in 2A West, Williamsport, team that went just 3-9-2 this season, lost 6 of its last 7, draws Oakdale. I would assume that, not that you want to pick and choose who you play or add any fodder to anything, but probably rather have Walkersville than Oakdale. That's a tough draw
Yes.
for Williamsport.
Yes, we got Oakdale last year, first round,
Yeah.
and it was tough.
It seems like Boonesboro and Oakdale always wind up gravitating toward each other in 2A,
Right.
whether it's girls, boys, whatever it is, whatever
Yes.
sport, somehow they wind up getting together. Williamsport 0-6-1 outside the county this year, including a 2-1 loss to the Walkersville team that you will see. So it's been kind of a rough season for Williamsport, but again, that's a young team there.
Yes.
So perhaps a possibility for them to break through. They have absolutely nothing to lose
Right.
in that first round game and everything to gain. In 1A West, you have 2 teams there who are the only 2 teams in the county who have scored more goals than they've allowed this season. Clear Spring is the number 3 seed with a 7-6-1 record. Played really well down the stretch. They lost their final game to Mountain Ridge, but talk about a tough draw.
Yes.
The number 2 seed, North Carroll, 7-4, yes, but they are the defending region and state champions. If you're Clear Spring, it seems like that difficult draw comes their way every season.
Yes.
I don't know what's going on there. I don't know what they're doing wrong, but that's a tough one. It's either Brunswick or North Carroll seemingly every year. Smithsburg is the 4 seed with a record of 6-8 overall. They started 0-5, and the Leopards wound up in that county championship game
Yes.
against you guys. What did you see with them that enabled them to improve as the season went along?
I just think personnel changes, just different field positions and things like that really helped them.
And they really did kind of find their stride toward the end, finish winning 4 of their last 5. They get a Manchester Valley team that's just 2-11 overall. One of those victories for Manchester Valley was over Smithsburg early in the season, but again, that seemed to be a different Smithsburg team
Yes.
at the time. In 3A West, a couple of schools there in North and South Hagerstown who combined to just win 2 games all season long, but South seems to be a very competitive team in that there were also 5 ties along the way too. Now you get to the point where you can't tie. As the 6th seed, they get number 3 seed Linganore, and Linganore beat them early in the season. But you just saw South Hagerstown.
Yes.
Are they a team you think who could possibly eke one out here in this opening round?
Sure. They can pull an upset. All their players have to be clicking on the same page.
And that's the key to it.
Yes.
All the time. It really is a team game. And the 7th seed is North Hagerstown, just 1-11-2 overall. And again, a very difficult draw there. They get the defending state champions in Urbana. So again, very tough here for Washington County in a lot of ways. Your first game coming up on Thursday. What will you have to do in order to get this first round victory?
Practice real hard for these next 2 days, no matter rain, snow, sleet, doesn't matter.
and
We're
it could be
outside.
any of those things, seemingly.
Yes.
That's the way the season's unfolded
Yes.
for Boonesboro. Weather has not been great.
The boys have to focus. Our coaching staff, we can only put the boys in their positions. They have to want it. They have to play their hearts out. So,
Well, best of luck coming up
Thank
on
you.
Thursday and ahead, and certainly thanks for being here today, Coach. Appreciate it.
thank you.
I'm back right after this. I've got a couple of Hancock football players who will join me. Heroes of the Gridiron coming up in just a moment.
Since 1963, you've been trusting the folks at Hagerstown Floors. It's still a family-owned and operated business featuring a variety of high-quality flooring choices for your home, like carpet, ceramic, hardwood, vinyl, and we offer floor sanding and refinishing for your existing hardwoods. And you'll find us stocked warehouse, full of flooring options for do-it-yourselfers or take advantage of our in-house installers for expert installation. Hagerstown Floors on Virginia Avenue in Hagerstown, the trusted name in flooring since 1963.
One, wanna be one. Number one, it's gotta be fun. One, wanna be one. Number one, it's gotta be fun. Punch it, kick it, giving it all. Premier Martial Arts helps take it to the top, y'all. Jab, cross, hook, kick, you feel it when we stick it. Wanna be one, winner, yeah, I won. I'm Premier, number one. Wanna be number one, kids? Have your parents call.
Welcome back to the show. We continue now with football, and I'm joined by a couple of members of the Hancock Panthers football team, Brad Welsh and Jesse Wolford. Welcome to the show, guys. A pleasure having you here. And Jesse, let me start with you. You guys fresh off the 42-6 victory over Seed on Saturday. So Hancock now sits at 4-2. Let's go to that game itself. And you score 3 touchdowns in that game. And scoring touchdowns has been nothing new this season for you. Tell me about your role on the team, because it was kind of defined that you'd be the quarterback to start the season, but it hasn't exactly panned out that way, but that's been okay.
Yeah, well, last year I played quarterback the whole season because we had our running back Jordan Kiefer last year. But coming into this year, we had a different type of team, basically. At the beginning of the season, I was playing quarterback and Brad was playing fullback, and we had Noah Teeter at tailback. But as the season went on, we moved Brad down to the line to help out on the line because we needed him out there. Moved Noah up to fullback, and I went to tailback from quarterback, and our backup quarterback, Jared Hose, went over to quarterback because I think I can run the ball a little bit better than him, but I think he can pass the ball better than I can. So I think that's how that whole situation turned out.
Yeah, and at Hancock, obviously, everybody needs to play a number of different roles. You're playing offensively, defensively, special teams. And Brad, being a newcomer to Hancock football, you certainly put your fingerprints on this team so far, because you've done a great job in terms of defense, the leading tackler right now. Tell me a little about this Hancock defense this season, and how you think that unit has performed so far.
I think it all starts at the line. We have a really good line. They open up a lot of holes for me and Travis as linebackers. And I think we're playing really physical right now, but I think we need to kind of swarm to the ball a little bit better, and we can take a further step and we can dominate even more. But I think our defensive line is doing a really good job right now, and then everyone else, I think we can step up a little bit more, but I think we're doing pretty good.
On the offensive side, you're a very important cog there as a guard, opening up holes for guys like Jesse and Noah Teeter and on down the line. Tell me a little bit about that and what it takes to get an offensive line to gel, because you really do have to be of one mind, and you really do have to do your job there on the line.
I think that as a team, as an offensive line, we've put in a lot of work during practice and just going on passing drills and run blocking, going through the chutes and all that. And I think that we fire off good and we stay on our block a lot. That's what I really like about our team, about our offensive line. And we got just some solid players that know what they're doing and playing offensive line for a while, and I think we're doing good. Yeah,
I think that line is really starting to fall into place. And Jesse, I'm sure you would concur with that.
Right. Yeah.
What you've seen out of that line. And I know you're not one to talk a lot about individual statistics. We were talking before we even started, and everything you said was team, team, team. Tell me a little bit about how that has gone at Hancock, and how maybe the success has factored into that a little bit, coming off a 9-2 season a year ago, sitting at 4-2 right now.
Well, first of all, I wouldn't get any of my yards if we didn't have linemen. So, I mean, individual statistics don't really matter as much as wins do to me. That's really what I want to do, is win games. And so far this year, I was a little upset because we lost 2 close games. We lost to Mount Carmel 30-28, which was really close. We lost by a field goal with 50 seconds left, which that was a tough loss. And then we came back and 2 weeks later and lost to Clear Spring 39-34, which we were up 28-20 at halftime. And I feel like we just need to play harder in the second half, and we need to come out strong. One of our biggest problems is the beginning of each half, the beginning of the first half and the beginning of the second half. We start out a little bit slow, and then we find momentum. I think what we need to do is just come out strong just from the start.
Now, is that something you can sort of inspire as a leader on this team, one of 5 seniors?
Well, I try to inspire that my team. Really, we just come out and we just make mistakes that we shouldn't make. It's not that we're not playing hard. It's just we just need to find a groove really from the start.
Let me ask you something, Brad. You know, being a newcomer to this team, Coach Rupenthal, a guy who is not new to Hancock football but became the head coach last year, his first season there, he talks a lot about success versus winning, not really talking about winning. What's the difference between talking about being successful versus winning? Because they do go hand in hand a great deal.
I think in order to win, you have to have success. And success comes in just learning how to play better, new techniques, and I think being more as a team can be more success. As like, if we can play all together, that's successful, but I don't know.
I think being successful is playing the best that we can possibly play, no matter if that's winning games or not winning games. If we're playing the best that we can play, I think that's successful, because you can't get better than that, really.
Right, yeah. And again, I think the team concept is something that we can all see. We've got things are falling down around us. Let's just hope that that's not indicative of the rest of the Hancock season. I don't think it will be. You guys are great cornerstones for the team, and appreciate you being here today. Massanutten Military Academy next up on the schedule on Friday. Best of luck to you guys the rest of the way.
All right, thank you.
I'll be back right after this. The show continues. Hopefully we'll be unscathed. When I come back, there's more football to talk about, plus some cross country, and I've got some golf too right after this.
For over 25 years, Tony's Pizzeria has been serving authentic Italian cuisine. Open daily for lunch and dinner. Stop by today and enjoy one of their many house favorites, made fresh from scratch daily, in the newly expanded and remodeled dining area. Serving a full liquor bar, beer, and wine, Tony's 50-person banquet room is perfect for your next celebration. Dine in, take out, or delivery. Come see what's new at Tony's Pizzeria Restaurant and Grill, 10 East Salisbury Street in Williamsport.
Since 1963, you've been trusting the folks at Hagerstown Floors. It's still a family-owned and operated business featuring a variety of high-quality flooring choices for your home, like carpet, ceramic, hardwood, vinyl, and we offer floor sanding and refinishing for your existing hardwoods. And you'll find us stocked warehouse, full of flooring options for do-it-yourselfers, or take advantage of our in-house installers for expert installation. Hagerstown Floors on Virginia Avenue in Hagerstown, the trusted name in flooring since 1963.
Welcome back to the show. Week 7's football schedule was highlighted by one of the better intra-county matchups of the season, as the Boonesboro Warriors put their 4-2 record up against the unblemished 6-0 mark of the South Hagerstown Rebels. Despite both teams riding winning streaks into Friday night, South had to be considered the prohibitive favorite. And after the Rebel D asserted itself to force a Boonesboro punt, on senior night, DeMaurier James claimed the opening offensive series as his own, starting and then 6 plays after finishing the drive that put South ahead 7-0 just 3 minutes and 12 seconds in. Then another Warrior punt later, Cole Stotler picked up the senior mantle and ran with it to set up James's second touchdown, his second in less than 2.5 minutes. Forced to punt for the 3rd straight possession, Boonesboro turned this one to its advantage. Although Daniel Moore initially appeared well on his way to giving South excellent starting field position, until Donnie Drawbaugh and Dalton Hawkins dislodged the football, and Tom Graziani recovered it at the Rebel 45-yard line. It was the spark the offense needed, as Graziani capped the drive from 2 yards out with 31 seconds left in the first quarter. The Rebels continued an uncharacteristic mistake-prone backslide from there, first committing a touchdown-erasing penalty on their ensuing possession before yielding a safety on a bad snap on their next. But a missed Boonesboro field goal attempt gave the ball back to South, and the Rebels proceeded to march 75 yards in 10 plays, expertly whittling the clock down to just 17 seconds before regaining the momentum and extending the lead to 20-9 just before halftime. And then it became 27-9, 4:42 into the third, before the Warriors answered back on Jeff Bennett's 47-yard touchdown strike to Bo Bodenheimer less than 2 minutes later. And following a second Rebel TD called back by a penalty, Corey DeBaugh's interception put the ball back in the hands of his offense, and 6 plays later, the legs of Owen Glass pulled Boonesboro within 27-24 with 1:42 left in the third quarter. But the fourth belonged to the Rebels from play number 1. While the South D tightened up, the offense began lighting it up as the Rebels outscored Boonesboro 21-0 in the period to notch a more challenging than the final score would indicate 48-24 win. South Hagerstown is now 7-0 on the year with a trip to 2-5 Watkins Mill ahead on Friday, while 4-3 Boonesboro heads home to take on 3-4 Catoctin. And before we move on, we hand out this week's Inside Sports Tony's Pizzeria Premier Performer Award. It goes to South quarterback T.J. Peer, who scored 28 of his team's 48 points against Boonesboro while running, throwing, and kicking the Rebels to their 15th consecutive regular season victory. 3 of Peer's 4 touchdown runs on his way to a 100-yard night came in the decisive second half as South captures the W, and he claims the pizza. Congratulations to T.J. Peer, this week's Tony's Pizzeria Premier Performer. Now, back to the gridiron, where Williamsport played Smithsburg style, but the Wildcats managed to grind out a 42-0 win over the Leopards. Williamsport led just 14-0 at halftime with this 89-yard hookup from Savon Brown to Manny Morris, creating the keynote highlight. Williamsport then scored a pair of TDs in the span of 3 minutes and 55 seconds early in the third quarter to open a 28-0 cushion. Jordan Stonebreaker and Colby Byers scored 2 second-half touchdowns apiece as the Wildcats wore down the Leopards to post their first shutout since October 28th of 2011 against Smithsburg. Williamsport has now won 4 of its last 5, and the 4-3 Cats play at 3-4 Brunswick, losers of 3 straight, this Friday. A banged-up Smithsburg team, now 2-5 on the year, goes home to face winless North Hagerstown also on Friday. The Hubs fell at home last Friday to Catoctin 32-21. North's first quarter woes continued as they fell behind 20-0 after the opening 12 minutes. The Hubs outscored the Cougars 21-12 the rest of the way, but the damage had already been done. On average, North has trailed 18-1 at the end of the first period this season and is now 0-7. Clear Spring was 0-3 at home heading into last Friday's meeting with Berkeley Springs, and the Blazers started out like they had every intention of remaining winless in Clear Spring. Trailing 14-13 in the third quarter, a defensive play by Ben Weller provided the offense that put the Blazers ahead before Joe McCoy scored his county-leading 15th touchdown early in the fourth to break the home victory drought. Clear Spring's now 3-4 overall and will host 3-3 Spring Mills on Friday. In cross country, the MVAL championships were contested last Friday at Boonesboro, and the Warriors' Haley Wright ran away with the girls' Antietam Conference crown. Wright's margin of victory was nearly 34 seconds. There was more good news for Boonesboro, too, as defending state champ Megan Grams continued her comeback from a lingering foot injury by placing 5th, and that helped the Warriors to a second-place finish behind Liberty. Smithsburg's girls came in 5th. In the boys' Piedmont race, South Hagerstown's Darren Harmon turned in a sizzling effort that earned him a runner-up placing, just over 7 seconds off the winner. That should provide him with a solid setup for the county championships to be held on his home course this Thursday. It was last Friday that Smithsburg solidified its golfing superiority this season. The Leopards added to their county title by winning the MVAL Antietam Championship. Jordan Tapley fired a 4 over 75 at Black Rock to emerge as medalist and Antietam Player of the Year. Dylan Klein of North finished 2 strokes behind him as Smithsburg ended the Hubs' 3-year reign as conference champions by 8 shots over North and Boonesboro, who tied for second. The state tourney begins for our county qualifiers on Monday. As for me, I'm back next Thursday with all kinds of results across the fall sports spectrum with a special eye on the state volleyball playoff draw. Until then, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time on The Inside.
Hey, your sisters and your brothers, your haters and your lovers, you gotta get up in the streets. Hey, don't complain to mother, they hiding under cover, you gotta get up